Why do we have to keep hearing this bullshit? The bullshit in question is the complaints, always from right-wingers, always from white supremacists, basically. They are white supremacists. Whining about, keep politics out of sports. Saw it again now today here. Fucking Twins put out a like a press release thing talking about like the Chauvin trial and the Dante Wright shooting and about systemic racism and all that stuff, and other teams in town and obviously other teams in the country, they've put out stuff, and it's always the same fucking response: keep politics out of sports, shut up and play the game. And we all know the game. We all know the game here. They say keep politics out of sports because it's the politics they don't want. They don't want. We just had Jackie Robinson Day last week. These are the same people who 50, 60 years ago, whenever, 70 years ago, they would have been hurling, N-word this, N-word that at Jackie Robinson when he started playing professional baseball, or, Major League Baseball. Nothing's changed with these people. I mean, it's generational bullshit from these people. They're all racist. They're all white supremacists, and I'm not going to even listen to any argument to the contrary. These keep politics out of sports people you're all trash. If anyone happens upon this video, you're a piece of fucking shit. You've lost. The world has passed you by. Fucking deal with it. We don't give a shit about you. Your opinions don't matter. You're trash, all of you. Because you're not saying keep politics out of sports because you just want the purity of the game. No, you don't want to have to be reminded that you're a white supremacist piece of shit. That's all it is. And yeah, there's a lot of shit going on right now in this fucking country, and very much so a lot going on in this state. It would be fucking irresponsible of the teams in town to not say something. And guess what? Whatever the law ends up saying, not the law, but the jury, whatever the other, whatever the potentially other trial ends up saying, Chauvin's a guilty piece of shit. He's a murderer. He should be put in prison. I mean, he wouldn't be put in prison for the rest of his life, unfortunately, with the charges he's got. He's not charged with enough to put him away for life or to put a fucking needle in his arm. Of course, I don't think we do that anyway. But Chauvin's a piece of shit. He murdered George Floyd because he's a racist, power mad piece of shit. And if he doesn't get convicted, I don't give a fuck what happens to him out on the streets. A little vigilante justice would be perfectly fine as far as I'm concerned. And as far as the Dante Wright thing, if you buy this bullshit that this like 25-year veteran cop knew or didn't know that she was holding a gun and not a taser, with all the steps that would have had to take place accidentally for her to do what she did, you're a fucking moron. That was an accident at all. Just because she yells taser, that's an accident? Fuck that. Fuck that bitch. She's a fucking murderer just like Chauvin. And there will be another one. There will be another incident like this. I mean, there'll be incidents all throughout the country. I mean, because they never fucking stop. Because these fucking cops in this country are a fucking menace. And nothing is ever done about it, just like nothing's ever done about the fucking guns. It's the anniversary today of Columbine. 22 years ago. Can you believe that shit? Remember when that was such a huge deal because it was so new. It was like it was like that sort of thing just doesn't ever fucking happen. And now this shit happens all the time, and cops are murdering people and they're getting away with it. It's like the whole reason everyone's on edge right now. in Minneapolis, in the state, in the country, is because they know deep down that this motherfucking murderer Chauvin is probably going to get off, or at the very least, he maybe get convicted of like the less of the crimes. You know, I don't have, you know, I don't have one bit of confidence that he's going to get convicted and sent away. It's just not going to happen. I hope it does happen. But it's like all this shit's going on. It's in our state. It's here. It's not going away. It's an issue. It's a very, very major issue. It would be fucking irresponsible of these teams not to say something. What are they going to come out and say? You know, you better comply with the police. Oh yeah? Tell that to that kid in Chicago who got fucking murdered. See, this shit goes on everywhere, man. And like even most people get it. Even the people who are like to keep politics on sports, they know what's going on. They don't care. You know, they love that Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd. They love that this fucking bitch in Brooklyn Center murdered Dante Wright. They love it. They fucking love this shit. Just like they love all the mass shootings. Every time there's a mass shooting, they're fucking beating their meat to it. They couldn't be happier that this shit's going on. So then a sports franchise puts out a statement saying that, well, we don't like this. We stand against this, and then they get mad and like, keep politics on sports, but they never fucking say that. Look at all the bullshit propaganda that's connected to sports. The national anthem, military appreciation, all this shit. Like, you can have it. I've never fucking cared. Like people get pissed off. Some people get pissed off these days that, they stop the ball game in the seventh inning stretch to play God Bless America. Like, I don't care. Whatever. You want to play it, fine. You have the national anthem, fine. You want to have military appreciation or whatever, fine. I don't give a shit. You can have it or not have it. It means nothing to me. I remember years ago getting almost fucking accosted at a Gopher football game because I was walking like in through the tunnel as the national anthem was being played, and I didn't have my hat off. Oh, that, and some like 70-year-old white guy who's probably dead now, and if he didn't, he probably voted for Trump. Basically got up in my face like, you gotta take your hat off. What are you doing? It was kind of fucking hilarious, but still, it's like this. That's politics. Why do we need the fucking anthem? We don't need that shit. We're not gonna forget what country we're in. They don't do this shit in other countries. But it's like, again, these fucking hypocritical, right-wing Nazi fucks. It's all it is to them is like, we don't want to hear about how our racism and how our bigotry and how our hatred of everybody who isn't a straight white Christian male is bad. That's why they get mad if there's like a Pride Day, like if Twins have done that. I know in the past they've had like they'll have like Pride Night at Target Field or something. They always get mad. Like lately it's more of a thing with all these cop murders and racial violence and all that stuff. But it never fucking stops. They're pushing an agenda. They're pushing an agenda for not murdering gay people. Like the big another big issue, or not even a big issue. It's just something that the right wing is bitching about is the like the trans athletes. Like. You don't actually give a fuck about this stuff. You just pretend to because you hate gay people, you hate trans people, you hate everybody who isn't a straight white Christian male who supports Donald Trump. So when you say that you don't want politics in sports, we know that what you mean is that you don't want liberal politics in sports. Ooh, liberal politics, so scary. Progressives, ooh, such scary shit, man. You might actually have progress in this country. That scares you. That really fucking scares you, people. But hey, this country's fucked up enough that we might not get it anyway, even though you people are a fucking tiny minority of this country. But gotta scrape and claw to get basic shit in this country that every other developed country on this planet has with ease, and has had for years with ease. And we gotta deal with the keep politics out of sports. I'm gonna boycott. Who gives a fuck if you boycott? Most of these fucking people are like collecting Social Security at this point anyway. Who gives a fuck? You're all gonna be dead soon, and the world's gonna be better off when you're dead. Like, oh no, they're gonna boycott the Twins. Oh, they're gonna boycott the Vikings. Or they're gonna boycott everything. They're just gonna boycott all sports. You don't have anything left at this point. What do these people do? They've boycotted everything in this country already. They've boycotted sports. They've boycotted movies. They've boycotted TV. They've boycotted music. They boycott restaurants. They boycott companies. They've got, what's left? What is left for you people? But again, it's just these fucking, you keep politics out of sports. We know what you mean. We know that it's all about, you would love it if every team was out there saying, we support white supremacy. You'd never be saying that shit. That's the other thing. It's like you talk about, we keep politics out of sports. Professional sports have always been political. Name a time in the history of professional sports in this country where it has not been political. Yeah, Jackie Robinson did just have. Do you think that wasn't political? Keeping him out of the league, keeping black people out of baseball. You think it wasn't political? Not hiring black managers and black NFL coaches and like these idiots want to act like this is like these are all just separate things and you can never mix them. Like politics and sports are always connected. They've always been connected. They're always going to be connected. Like, but again, they don't care about this unless these teams are out, And look, you could argue that is it just they're just saying it to say it. I mean, we know there's racist owners in sports. We know that. So some of them could just be saying something for the sake of saying it, just to look good. But okay, even if they are, like, fine, put it out there just as a generic statement if you want. Like, but they don't. These fucking right wingers, they don't give a shit. Unless it's if you're defending or promoting or endorsing something they see as like a liberal agenda, because not having cops murder people and not having the justice system aligned towards always letting cops get off and stuff like that, like that's not like a liberal agenda. If you these people fucking claim to love this country, of course they fucking hate this country. But like, if they love this country, this is what they would want. They would want it to be, fair and equal. And we'll never be that. I mean, it's something you aspire to, to be like, the perfect union, the perfect country that's fair. Like, it's never gonna be like, income inequality and shit. Like, there's always gonna be poor people. Like, it's not about that. It's not about you. You literally never have this stuff again. It's about doing everything you can to minimize that as much as you can. And, but putting that out there is, okay, you're putting politics into sports, you ruin it for me. No, you didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't ruin it for you. You ruined it for yourself by being a bigoted piece of trash. And that's what these people are. They just are. There are no good people who are white supremacists. Like, I'm sorry, that's kind of just an agreed upon thing. You can't be a white supremacist and be a decent person. You can't. You can't, you know, you can't hold some of these like outdated trash political opinions and be a decent person. You can't. You're not a good person. You're a terrible piece of shit person, and I'm glad that you're gonna die off soon. You know, these fucking geriatric fucks who are still wishing it was like the 1930s or the 1860s, I guess. Like, I'm glad you're all dying off. The world is better off when you're gone. And the world will be better off when you're gone. And if you've raised your kids to be this way, the world will be better off when they're gone. And if they raise their kids to be that way, then it'll be better off when they're gone. Minimize minimize these people as much as humanly possible. And we're never going to get rid of them. Like, you're never going to get rid of racism. It doesn't matter. Like, it's like everything else. You're never going to get rid of it completely. That's a pipe dream. And but you can minimize these people. The key politics out of sports crowd, they deserve to be ostracized from society. And I think to a degree they are being ostracized, but unfortunately they still hold way too much fucking political power. And that was of course the other thing recently was the All-Star game getting moved out of Georgia. Like, you keep putting politics into sports. Well, you fascists are literally trying to steal away the right to vote from millions and millions of people. So who gives a fuck? Be mad. If you're gonna try to drag this country back to the 1860s, guess what? You don't get to be a part of the country in 2021. I wish they do more. I mean, fuck, I wish the punishment for some of these racist policies and everything, I wish it would be more extreme. Take the fucking franchises out of the states. Move the fucking Braves and Falcons to, I don't know. Guess you can't really move them just about anywhere in the South because the whole South is fucked up. But I don't know. Move them somewhere. Make them play all their games on the road. Just take them away from the state. I'm all for severe punishment for these people, but and then they just say, "Oh, I'm gonna boycott." Yeah. We've heard all this shit before about your boycotts. The Colin Kaepernick boycott fiasco. Like, you claim to boycott, you're all still watching the NFL. And don't get me wrong, the NFL is fucked up beyond repair at this point for reasons that have nothing to do with social justice or whatever. But like, you didn't boycott. You never did. And every time these fucking mouth breathers boycott something, it's a failed boycott anyway, so who cares? But just shut up with this keep politics out of sports bullshit. Politics has always been a part of sports, just like it's always been a part of America, and it will always be a part of America. You don't like that it's not your politics being reflected? Too fucking bad. Evolve. Get better politics. Learn something about the world. Beyond your little Fox News bubble. Like, the world has passed you by. And it's going to continue to pass you by as the rest of us move, evolve to the future. And, want to claim you're boycotting shit, you're not boycotting anything. You're too fucking lazy and stupid to even boycott anything. You don't even know what that is. Most of these people probably didn't fucking go to games anyway. I mean, it's another sickness of the these sports. I wouldn't say predominantly minority race players, but in some cases there are probably. And it's like, you want to claim to be a fan of these sports, but you fucking hate half of the players, at least. Like, you hate them. You just do. Like Vikings fans, bigoted Vikings fans. You want to tell me you're a Vikings fan? You obviously hate, if a player on the team is black, you obviously fucking hate him. You hate Eric Kendricks. You hate Justin Jefferson. You hate Danielle Hunter. You hate Dalvin Cook. You hate these people. Don't turn around and pretend to be a fucking fan of these teams when you hate to your fucking core a lot of the players who are on the team. You're not a fan of these teams. You're not a fan of these leagues. You're not a fan of anything other than your little, Republican Party cult. And, they're not going to keep politics out of sports. They're not. Toothpaste ain't going back in the tube. Whether there was one event that, whether it was just the Trump presidency that changed things, or George Floyd, or whatever, like, it ain't going back the other way. It's just not. And you can bitch about, sports reflecting this change in society all you want, but it ain't going back the way you want it. The way you want it is the 1860s. It ain't going back there. And, I could say you're just going to have to deal with it, but I don't give a fuck if you deal with it. I don't give a fuck if you exist. You keep politics out of sports. There's got to be a better term to use. That's too many words, but, like, you're just not people that matter anymore. No matter how much, distorted political power you may or may not have. Like, you don't matter. And we're not going back to the days of, the days that you want it to be, the 1860s or the 1930s or 40s or whatever, pre-Jackie Robinson, whatever period you want. It's not going back to anything. And it's just not. And I don't care if you deal with it or not, because if you're mad about it, you're a piece of shit. You are. And I'm this is why I could never fucking run for political office, because I would not mince words. If you are one of these people, you are a piece of shit. Your opinion doesn't matter. You're garbage, and the world will be much, much better off when you're not in it. And a lot of these people are just geriatrics at this point anyway. They're dying off, and that's good, because we don't need you. We don't need you in a, I wouldn't say an evolved society, because I don't think we're in an evolved society. We may never be in this country, but we're more evolved than we used to be, and we're more evolved than you would ever want us to be. So, yeah. So, I'll just keep on blocking the white supremacists on social media when I see this shit, when I see the anger at anything about any sort of non-sports issue or anything political being talked about by an athlete or a franchise or an ownership, whatever. Like, because there's no point engaging with these people, because they're just trash trolls, and they don't matter, and they never will matter, and they're probably mad that they don't matter, and they know that they don't matter. So yeah, we're not keeping politics out of sports, you jagoffs, because politics has always been a part of sports, going back to the dawn of sports. And, better just fucking deal with it, because, again, we're not going back to the 1860s. No matter how much a lot of this country wants us to go back to the 1860s, it ain't fucking happening. So we're gonna just go ahead and keep putting politics into sports. In fact, maybe we'll do it even more. Taking knees for everybody. Everybody should take a knee. And if it pisses people off, well, guess what? You're pissing off the right people, because if you're pissed off at that, you're trash.